Welcome into another edition of the Leadership Library, hosted by CEO and author Rocky Romanella. Rocky is the author of the book Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and has over 40 years of business experience as a prominent member of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions team, as well as the CEO of Unitech Global Services. So sit back, grab your notebook, and take a seat, and get ready for this edition of the Leadership Library.
Welcome to the Leadership Library podcast. I'm your host, Rocky Romanella. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the forms of feedback, the different types of feedback. Right now, all of us need feedback. Obviously, we all want positive feedback, but every now and then you have to deliver, as you want people to deliver you the bad news, you have to deliver, the news that, we need to work on certain things or some improvement that needs to be done. So I think the best way to do it is put it kind of in three buckets. There's the form, there's the purpose, and there's the result. The form to me would be positive feedback, constructive feedback, and then negative feedback. That would kind of be the form or the type of feedback, right? So there's the positive feedback that everybody likes to deliver. You're telling the person what they did well. You're reinforcing the things they've done well. In many cases, what you're doing is you're letting them know this is the behavior that you applaud. Then there's the constructive feedback. Did it well, good things going on. Here's something maybe to look at. Doing it a little bit differently that maybe helps you get a little better result. But it's constructive feedback, right? We all need that positive, constructive feedback. Finally, we have that negative feedback. We all are going to hear those times when we may not want to hear it, but there's that feedback we need to know that what we're doing is not achieving the results we need to get to, that we may be getting farther off plan instead of getting closer to plan. So that feedback's important. There's a way of delivering that news, but those are your three types of, or we'll call form of feedback, right? So there's the positive feedback, there's the constructive feedback, and then there's the negative feedback. Then we have the purpose for each one of those. Obviously, the purpose of positive reinforcement is what? Positive feedback is to reinforce those behaviors, that you recognize their performance, you recognize what they're done, and you applaud that behavior. Then you have, as we talked about, the constructive feedback, which is, you're just saying the things you're doing are good. We could do them a little bit better. You may want to look at them differently. It's what I always said before, right? We challenge people not to stop at the first right answer. It's not that what they're doing isn't the first right answer, but maybe there's a better answer after the first right answer. And then I think there's that feedback, the purpose of the negative feedback is, hey, you know what? We have to make some changes. We have to avoid doing the things we're doing. We have to change the things we're doing. We have to look at the things we're doing differently because we're not achieving the results that we need both as a person and both as an organization. And then the third one is the results, right? What are the results that we're trying to achieve from the positive feedback, the reinforcement of that positive feedback? What we're trying to do is continue that, that growth, to get people to continue to do those right things, to continue to grow and develop because of them, to understand this is what good looks like, to understand this is what we need to do. I think on the constructive side of things, you're teaching employees that, you're going to help them build themselves a little bit better, right? To be a little more competitive. The things they're doing are good, but how do we get to that next level, right? How do we get exponential gains versus relative gains? And finally, the third one, which is the negative feedback or the feedback that a difficult conversation we have to have. What we're trying to say is, look, we don't want this to go any further. We don't want this to lead to an outcome that is undesirable for both of us. So this is an opportunity for us to stop, evaluate, and change direction. I think that's what's so important. That's your opportunity to save someone. Once it gets too far out, past where you need to be, it's hard to maybe have that kind of conversation that brings them back or keeps them in the fold. So that's the three different types of feedback. It's positive reinforcement, it's constructive feedback, and then it's the feedback that just having that difficult conversation to help get them back on track. That's the forms of feedback that I think are so important, and the feedback that, we're incumbent, it's on our responsibility to have with our people. Thanks for being part of the Leadership Library family. For more questions on this important subject, please feel free to email me at on our website, www.tightenlugnuts.com, or my email address, rockyromanella@gmail.com.